Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And thanks to you, it's happening!
Woo!
You may be asking, what is happening? What are you talking about? Well, we had said last year that if we reached 3,000 subscribers, we would do our top 100 games of all time. We hit that. The list is starting. It starts today. We did it. Thanks to you.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun list. I think that it's really hard to make a list like this. Because we've played so many games. You know, even when you've played thousands of games, it's like, how do you pick out the best ones? And then on top of that, how do you rank the best ones?
Yeah.
If you've got a party game and you've got a strategy Euro and you've got a two-player abstract and you've got a, whatever, a kid's game that you really love to play with your kids, how is one of those better than the others? How do you put one at, 72 and one at 73? It's like, it's really, really tough. So, we poured over this, took a long time preparing this, but we're really excited about it. For my list personally, I kind of assumed a few things. I assumed that I had the optimal player count when I was playing a game. I assumed that I had the best people for that particular game, and I assumed that I had unlimited time. So, I think sometimes if we made this list based off of what would we play the most, it would be shorter games. And if we did what was our absolute number one favorite games, it would be maybe medium or heavier games. And so this is kind of a blend of all of that because of it's assuming ideal situations for me at least.
Yeah, for me, when I was compiling this list, I was thinking if I wasn't tired and I had time, which one would I want to play more? But specifically, I can't be tired. I can't be tired, and I can't have a list of things I need to do. If my mind is able to be fully present, which game do I prefer? Because there's a lot of games out there where you're like, yeah, I can get this done in 20 minutes. I'm hanging out with my family, and I'm going to go clean. But this, I try to think about if my brain was present and I wasn't tired, which one would I choose?
We're going to go through this 10 games at a time. So today's video, we're going through 100 through 91. So the bottom 10 of our total top 100. These are still amazing games that made our top 100. They're just the bottom of that 100.
Yeah.
All right, so ladies first. Let's kick it off with the number 100.
My number 100 is a game called In the Palm of Your Hands. This is a game where you're acting out a card to try to get your teammate to guess it. However, your teammate's eyes are closed the whole time, and you get these bits. You're literally acting it out with these little things in their hand. So when they open their eyes, they see all the cards there and they're trying to guess what you did. But the reason why I thought this was that's on my list, A, very unique, haven't seen that before, but B, when you look at all the cards, we went through this entire game and we looked at all the cards, there is actually a complete story arc. There's different characters that are in there and they're all wearing the same colored shirt throughout it, whether they're young or old or whatever. And so I just thought that it was so well thought out with the story of what's happening while you're trying to get your players to guess. You could just had random pictures or make it abstract, but they didn't because it's, is it a grandfather?
It's a grandfather who's essentially blind.
Exactly.
And the grandson is kind of going through a picture album and describing what's going in the picture to him through actions on his hand.
Yeah, so I just thought that
sweet.
Was really, really unique.
All right, so my number 100 game is Merlin. This is by Stefan Feld, and you get used to hearing that name because he's one of my favorite designers, so his name is going to pop up a few times on this list overall. Not necessarily today, but over the course of this top 100. This is a roll and move style game, which would be an immediate turnoff for a lot of gamers, but it's in such a cool, unique way. You have multiple dice, and you can kind of use them to spin around and do different things. Yeah. One of the dice lets you use a different pawn, lets you go backwards. It's got this strong kind of Arthurian theme going on throughout it. It does have several expansions, and every single one of the expansions is an amazing addition, an amazing hit for me. However, it took this really cool, simple, streamlined dice rolling game to a big, bloated, hot mess. So I suggest you take one of them at a time. If you're playing Merlin, take one expansion, enjoy it, take it out again, play with a different one, enjoy it, take it out again. And then sometimes just play the base game too, enjoy it for its simplicity. Yeah. But all of them all at the same time, I don't recommend. But Merlin, super fun Feld game, and it's a unique roll and move thing that we just haven't seen before.
All right, my number 9 is Courtesans, and this is a card game. Every turn you're drawing 3 cards, and you have to choose one to keep, choose one to give away, and choose one to put in the middle player board. And that player board area is going to determine whether cards score positively or negatively. Essentially, you want your your card to be in favor, so you want to draft those above. But if you want a card to be negative, you put those down below. But you also need those cards as well to score them. So it's really interesting to make that decision of who's getting what, depending on what's out there. You also have secret victory conditions that you're trying to make to score additional points. A very simple, straightforward card drafting game, but I found it really challenging to do well in. Like the first 10 times, I don't even think I scored positively in this game, but I really like trying to manipulate that. And I also thought it was interesting that my 7-year-old could manipulate it better than me. Why's that?
All right, so the number 99 game on my list, this is The Resistance Avalon. I don't do a whole lot of social deduction style games, but there are a few that rise to the top. This is one of them. This is the game that we play with our extended family quite a bit. In fact, we had to kind of pull back because we was playing it so much, but I'm excited to be playing it again shortly. This is a game where you have good guys and you have bad guys. The bad guys kind of all know who each other are. Good guys don't know who anybody is. You have different cards that you can add in. I highly recommend the Big Box Edition. The Big Box Edition has a whole lot of different cards and different roles that you can be as. And some of them might have a little bit of information, but you can't really talk about it too much because then you give away who you are, things like that. So you're all just kind of lying and shouting. It is an absolute blast. I know there's a lot of games in this genre. I think this one does the best job of it. Keeping it kind of straight on, keeping things moving, with at the same time getting to get the satisfying like betrayals, like you're bad, no you're bad, no you're bad, no you're bad, and then it reveals I was bad the whole time. It's so much fun. Great game.
Yeah, don't play with people you don't have a secure relationship with.
Yeah, we've messed up some friendships and families with this game.
All right, my 98 is Ready, Set, Bet, and this is a real-time horse betting game. So one person is rolling dice the whole time to move these horses, and you're trying to bet on where the horses are going to land. And there's a lot of different things that you can bet on, not just who's going to win, but who's going to get second, if this one's going to beat this one, if so many are going to be above this, if a certain color is going to win. There's just a lot of things to bet on, but it's absolutely hilarious while like you're rolling because it's all chance, right? So you're just like shouting and wanting these certain things to happen like it's actually happening. And this is why I don't gamble in real life, because I could not handle the stress, but the stress in this game I can handle.
All right, my number 98, this is Point Salad. Not only is a hilarious board gaming pun based off of point salad style games, it itself is a kind of a set collection point salad style game. You're drafting these cards. You're either drafting 2 of them as a resource, 2 of them as vegetables, or you can draft 1 card as a point scoring card. So cards are meaningless unless you have a scoring card that does something that interacts with them. So you might have a scoring card that says something like, for every pair of tomatoes, 5 points. Or for every set, if you have the fewest amount of this, if you have the most amount of that. If you have these 3 different resources, for every set of 3 of these different things, you're going to get some points. Whatever the case is. So you are trying to draft scoring cards and then draft vegetable cards that make those scoring cards work as optimally as possible. It gets lightning fast. Don't get used to a card being out there. Don't try to save it for later, because if you come back to it, it's going to be gone.
It's gone.
And it's really fun. It's super simple. You take it with you anywhere. Play it with anybody. Teach it to anybody. Super, super fun game.
All right, my number 97 is The Princess of Florence. This is probably one of the first 100 games we ever owned. It was also one of the first games that I wanted to seek out and buy before I actually called myself a board gamer, because I was just married to a board gamer at that point.
I never saw it like that.
Little did I know. But anyway, this was one of the first games that I sought out. I really liked it. I liked how the points and money worked, like how you could kind of like interchange those to get what you needed. The only problem is we actually don't have this in our collection anymore, is because it requires 3 people to play, and it makes sense with how the betting and drafting works. You need that. But we just did not get it to the table, and we have finite space. We do not buy more shelves. If it doesn't fit, then we move something along. So this is one that moved along, but I do still really, really enjoy it.
If we'd held out to where our oldest daughter could play with us now,
yes,
we definitely should have it.
We would have.
And there's a new edition now
too
that I want to play.
There's a game higher on my list that has that same criteria, but we ended up keeping it because we played it later on. Yeah.
All right, so number 97 for my list, this is Unrest. This is a 2-player only game. One team is kind of playing as like the big bad empire. One is like playing like the rebellious like rebels, I guess. I don't know.
The rebellious rebels.
So this is the guys fighting against the big bad empire. It is completely asynchronous. You're trying to take over these 3 different lands, 3 different areas of the board, 3 different arenas, I guess you could say, whatever. Yeah. And there's 5 of them out there, so whoever gets the first 3 wins. The rebels only have cards. They only have cards to use, and they have certain parameters that are public as far as what is going to be able to score an area. So maybe they need to have a whole bunch of a certain color, or maybe they need to have one of each color, or maybe they need to do whatever the case is. Have a certain total number of scores there, no matter what color they are. The Empire, they don't have hardly any knowledge. They only can see some of the cards are face up, some of the cards are face down. All they can see are what's face up, and they can see kind of the total number of cards that are out there. And they have these really strong abilities. Like you can't put any tokens here. You can't. I can flip over and see what you have over here. I can get rid of things that are over here. Whatever the case is, so they have these really strong abilities, but they don't have a lot of control. So you're trying to force the rebels to waste their resources on something that they didn't want. Yeah. It's super asynchronous. Each side is 100% different, but it's fast enough to where we play it like multiple times. I'll play the rebels, then I'll play the Empire, then I'll play the rebels, then I'll play the Empire, and it's a brilliant design. It is a brilliant design. I have no idea how they balanced it out to make it so that those 2 very different systems work out, but I love it. It's super fun.
All right, my number 96. My number 96 is 12 Days, and this is a game, it's a trick-taking game, and you are trying to win the tricks, and every trick progressively earns you more points as the game progresses, starting with 1, ending with 12, and then at the end of the game, whoever has the majority of a certain number card left on the hand scores the value of that card, and then you add it all up, and whoever wins, wins. But it's really tricky because you want to keep the higher value cards, but they eat up so much space in your hand. And the lower value cards get you tricks, but you kind of want to hold out until the tricks are worth more. So it's a really fun game. This gets a lot of play around this season, around like Christmas time and stuff. We've played it so many times over the past month and a half, but it's super, super fun.
So my number 96, this is Obscurio. Obscurio is kind of like what I would call the spiritual successor of Mysterium. But Obscurio is essentially a cooperative game with a trader. So there is a trader that we don't know who it is at the beginning of the game. And there's one person who is basically this book. It's a book that's talking to us as wizards, and the book is trying to get us to escape this room that we're all locked in. Of course, the trader's trying to keep us locked there and wasting our time trying to go through the wrong doors, and so we can't escape. But basically, you're going to have these cards. These cards are these kind of weird circular cards, fully weirdly abstract, just like in Mysterium. Actually, even more so, almost like more like Dixit cards, but like even weirder. And does it get any weirder than Dixit cards?
I don't know. I don't
Those
think
are some
so.
weird stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of timepieces, right? This abstract impressionist timepieces. But you're trying to get people to guess what the official doorways, the official gateway is by using the clues and the cards that you're given. The book is actually working not with the book person knows who the trader is because they're having to communicate together silently. Whoever else has their eyes closed, they're not on the same team. There's communicating silently, and the trader is trying to get them to go through the wrong path. It is a blast every time we play this. It's hard enough as it is, but the trader makes it even harder, and it's really fun to just have that moment where the trader gets revealed, and you can call him out too if you're confident in who you think it is. It's super, super fun every time. Great conversations every time we play this game. It's a blast.
All right, my 95 is Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town. Love that title. It makes me laugh. The title is a translation thing, so that's why it's so long, but it just makes me laugh every single time. I love it. So this is a hidden movement game. So there's one person who knows where everybody is and what they're doing, and all the other players are trying to go to the ghost town and find their pizza and deliver it to the person who wants that pizza. Problem is, you don't know where anything is. It's just your pawn, and you're moving and you're getting information. You're trying to map out where everything is so you can go and deliver this and deliver it back. It's hilarious. It is such a good time. I would not let very young children be the mayor. We may have had an incident happen where we were playing this game and there was a lot of foobar happening while we were playing it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing made sense.
No, but it was actually still really hilarious because
it was a great experience because of how chaotic it was.
Yes.
All right, so my number 95 is Patchwork. This is a 2-player game from Uwe Rosenberg. He does like 2 things, and he does them really well. It's either farming games or polyomino-style games. This is one of the polyomino ones. I think maybe even his first, or I don't know, but this is one of those games where you are drafting these polyomino tiles, trying to fill up a quilt. You're making a quilt, ultimately, what you're trying to do. And you're drafting them in this really clever way. You try to get the most amount of points by leaving nothing unturned. The way that you draft the tiles has to do with 2 resources. One of them is buttons, which is kind of like your currency. But the other currency is time. It takes time to sew these complicated patches onto your thing. So you have to move along this other track as well, which is just kind of the game end trigger. You're constantly spending more and more time as you're also spending buttons. This is so simple. It's a great 2-player game. Sometimes we'll just bust this out and play it when we're wanting to in the mood for just a light game. We want to play a game, but we're like not wanting to play like a big crazy thing. Patchwork is perfect. Love a game.
All right, my 94 is...
What was that again?
94. That's all I said.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I only said 94 is photosynthesis. This is such a fun, pretty game, and it's so mean. Like, you don't realize how mean this game is until you play it. I mean, you're growing these trees, but you only get light points if the sun hits your tree. But there's only so much space, so you're like planting in certain places. You end up blocking people, and so one turn you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing amazing. I got so many light points. And the next turn you're like, why did all your trees have to be right there? I'm not getting anything. I can't do what I want. But it's so pretty at the same time and very photogenic. This is probably the most photogenic game we own just because of how 3D everything is.
Especially with the little animals in the expansion.
Yes,
super cute.
yes. So there is an expansion, and I do like playing with that. It's a moon, and it travels the other way, and it affects other things on the board. But yes, photosynthesis. Our kids love this game.
All right, so my number 94 is A Gentle Rain. This is not the kind of game that I would normally be drawn to, but the fact of the matter is I just play it so gosh darn much, I can't ignore it. This is one that our kids ask for all the time. It's a full cooperative game, and it's a tile-laying game. We're trying to basically build a situation where you kind of surrounded a little area on the board, in which basically you can put a flower on that flower token on that spot of the board. You try to play all these flower tokens by using as few tiles as possible. It can be kind of tough to get it all done, but the gameplay itself is so unbelievably chill. This is a super relaxing experience. This is a great way to start a night, end a night, or even if you just want to travel with it or play it when in a situation where you're both like practically asleep, or we both had a long day at work and it's like, I don't want to turn the TV on, I don't want to scroll on my phone, let's just kind of put some tiles out there and talk,
Yeah.
Yeah. A Gentle Rain is perfect for that situation, and it's one that our kids ask for all the time because it's hard. They have different tastes.
Yeah.
So to get them, we have to usually try to get them to agree on a game so we can play it all together, or we just say, "Hey guys, our turn. We're choosing, and you're going to just have to play with us." This is a game they both just are like, "Yeah, let's do it," every time.
All right, my number 93 is Vampires the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game. This game is so much fun. It is a what's that thing called again?
An LCG, like a living card game.
LCG,
They call it an expandable card game. But
expandable card game. So this isn't one of those games that has unique or rares. What you get, everybody gets the same thing, and then you kind of figure out how you want to play your deck with these different families in it. So this is the first game like this I have ever played, and I really, really liked it. What's funny about it is I'm not a huge like vampire gore person. I don't gravitate towards those movies, towards those books or anything, but the system, the gameplay of this game is so strong and so good that doesn't even really matter for me because I just enjoyed the game so much. So I can only imagine those of you who are actually fans of Vampire the Masquerade, how amazing this game must be for you when the gameplay is this strong and yet you know all the places and characters at the same time. I bet you that's like even better. It'd probably be higher on your list than it is on mine. But without me knowing any of that, I still really like it.
All right, the number 93 game on my list is called A Call to Adventure. This is kind of a game that's best done if you're willing to do some role playing and some storytelling. And I don't choose a lot of those kinds of games either.
Yeah.
This one just does a really good job. It has these really cool runes that kind of act as like dice in the game. One side it works, one side doesn't. It's a double-sided rune, almost like a coin kind of system. But you have a whole bunch of these runes and you kind of roll them out, and you try to see how many positive sides up you get. Throughout the game, you have a kind of a hero, and that hero is going on this journey, this kind of character arc, and you have all these different choices to make about as far as what to do, how to handle these different situations. And then at the end of the game, what you're going to do is you're going to go back through and you're going to tell the story of your character and give it the best story arc possible. So you do have to do some storytelling. And what is interesting is you can just play this as a true board gamer, I guess. And what you do is you just make whatever the most optimal decision is, make the most amount of points, even if it doesn't make any sense, and you just do it.
Boring!
Whoa. You kind of do whatever makes the most sense from a points perspective. But at the end of the game, your story is going to be really kind of like...
boring.
It's going to be like, I did this, and then my character made this decision that didn't
there
relate
is no story.
Okay.
Nobody would read it.
And then sometimes what would happen is you come to this point where it's like, this is clearly what's better for my character from a money or points perspective, but like this is, I feel like my character would actually do given what I've already the narrative that I've started to create for them. So then you kind of take it on this other path. And so this is a game where I don't care if I win or lose. It doesn't matter. What matters is how good of a story did I create at the end of the game. Again, it puts a lot of onus on the players to do some creative thinking and build a story around these characters. But if you're in if you enjoy that kind of light role playing, this is a great vehicle to do that. It does the role playing for you, gives you the events that your character does. You just kind of fill in the details and the gaps in the personality.
Yeah. My number 92 is Bites. This is a really fun game where you have all this food out there and you're moving different colored ants along the path in order to draft certain bits of food. The problem is you score based on where that matching colored ant ends up at the end of the game. So you might not want to get as many things as possible because it's not going to score as well, but you also can't get any. You have to get stuff because then it doesn't score at all, but then it will score a lot if maybe these things happen, if only that person doesn't move that. And then there's also different ways to score it. There's all these different varieties that you can play it, but it's just so fun to try to manipulate it so where you can get the most points, but you actually don't know how things are going to score until close to the end when you're manipulating it more. This is one of the first games that I think our 7-year-old played that wasn't a kid's game. This is one of her first step games because she understood the basic concepts. Not that she was scoring well or anything, but when she was younger, she understood the basic rules of that. So it's always going to hold a spot in my heart because of that, but it's also just a really solid game.
All right, so my number 92 is Ticket to Ride, specifically Germany. Germany is my favorite map of the ones that are standalones. It's got a lot of similarities to Markland, but Markland's a lot harder to get, a lot more expensive. But Ticket to Ride, what a classic game. It is one of the best examples of a modern classic in the board gaming world. It still holds up. It is still a great gateway game that you can play with and teach to anyone. Yeah. And each one of the maps gives you a different kind of twist and a way to manipulate the system and new ways to score, all kinds of things. Classic set collection, route building, you kind of just get it. You kind of understand it so smoothly. The Germany map has these meeples that you are, trying to, as you build routes to them, you get to collect them. At the end of the game, there is additional points given out for how many meeples you have of various types. And yeah, I like all Ticket to Ride. This is kind of a placeholder for all of them. So you're not going to see Ticket to Ride anywhere else on this list. And you'd never see on the list? Ticket to Ride Legacy. Garbage. It doesn't count for this. All the other Ticket to Rides, though, sure.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because when we were reviewing it, you didn't say it was garbage. I said I didn't like it and that you should avoid it and that any other Legacy game is better than this Legacy game.
In retrospect, yeah, it's the least good Legacy game I've ever played, and it was the hardest to get to table with our family, and every time it was resentful, they were mad about having to get it out, and it went on way too long.
Oh.
Ticket to Ride should be snappy, and that was not snappy.
Snappy. Okay, the last one on my list.
Sorry, a little tangent for you there. That one's free.
My number 91 is Race for the Galaxy, and this was really funny because when I'm trying to figure it out, I'm comparing all these games to each other. I haven't played this game in a while, but I really like it, and I keep forgetting that we have it and that we own it. And I'm like, but I do like it. And so all these other things kept pushing off. I'm like, I really need to play this game again recently, because we haven't played it recently. But so this is a game where you are building a tableau and you're playing a card. In order to do that, you get a better action and everybody else gets like a lesser action if they don't match. So it's just really fun trying to figure out what other people are going to play, so you can play to get like extra good stuff, but sometimes you don't get good stuff. But then sometimes you can take like every action in a turn depending on what people play. So that's really, really fun. Race of the Galaxy, Ryan asks for this all the time and I just like forget about it. But then when I was looking and comparing things, I'm like, yeah, no, this is a good one. This is a really good one.
Which I'm going to hold you to this. We're going to play it. You're going to play it soon.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 91, last game on the list for today is Boop. Boop is a 2-player abstract strategy game where basically you're trying to line up 3 cats in a row, but the cats are hard to line up because they bounce away from each other as they're kind of bouncing on this mattress and scaring each other and doing all those different things that cats do on this mattress.
Yeah.
It is incredibly adorable. It is aggressively adorable because it is so much thinkier than you would imagine as you're trying to line all this up.
It's
the same,
yes,
exactly.
yeah.
It's super cute, but it is cute cats and I love them. But you have to be constantly like, what's because everything's open information, right, in these 2-player abstracts like this. And so you can predict what the other person might do and try to fight against that. So you're constantly on defense, you're constantly on offense. You're trying to take these kittens, turn them into cats, and try to get the cats in a row. And the heavier cats can move stuff, the little cats can't. And, oh my gosh, it's absolutely adorable. It's absolutely cute, while being absolutely a brain-burner, thinky experience as well. I love Boop.
We did it!
All right, so that was our first installment of our top 100 of all time. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. You want to see the next installment. We're going to be doing this weekly for the next 10 weeks.
Yes, we will take an intermission sometime to talk about our top 10 games of 2024, but then we'll come back to finish it up. All right, like Ryan said, you want to make sure to subscribe so you can see all of these videos. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You guys, thanks for watching our shenanigans. As always, we appreciate it. Over here, if you follow this link, you're going to find a playlist we've hand-selected, handcrafted, just for you, because you watched this video.
And if you check over here, this is a video that YouTube thinks you might like. So you can check that out if you want as well.
All right, we appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.